Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to the Japan Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography, and what is our topic today? A human settlement. Human settlement is the most important here, but is the first point. What is a settlement? First of all, understand you what is a settlement. Settlement is the most important point. Though we are used their term is a very frequently, but when it's come for identify, it is very difficult to give a clear-cut definition here. In a simpler, the term we can define settlement as any form of human habitation which is the ranges from a single dwellings to be large city. The word settlement has another connotation as well as this is a process of opening up and settling to be preview uninhabited area by people. In a geographical, this process is also known as the accompanies, and there is we can say settlement is a process of grouping of people and acquiring of some territory to be built houses as well as for their economical support. Settlement can be broadly be divided into two types: rural settlement and urban settlement here. The settlement here broadly two types: urban and rural. Before the discussing about the meaning of types of rural and urban settlement in India, we should be now some basic difference between to the rural and urban area in generally here. First of all, here the major difference between the rural and urban area is a function. Rural area have is a predominantly is a primary activity. The rural area have a predominantly a primary activity, and whereas the urban area have a dominated by secondary and tertiary activity. There is the most important and a small point here. And generally, their rural area have a lower density of population than the urban. There is an important also point here. Generally, there is a rural area have a low density of population than urban area. The next here, types and pattern of rural settlement here. Types and patterns of rural settlement. Before discussing types and pattern of rural settlement of India, let's have a sum of idea about the words types and pattern. The types refer to category of things having some common feature, whereas a pattern refer to regular form or order in which is a series of things occur. You know that there is an important point. Types and pattern here are defined here. Types refer to the category of things having some common feature, and whereas the pattern refer to be regular from order to which is a series of things occur. And when we say the settlement pattern, the term strictly there is applied to be a particular arrangement in the distribution of settlement which is given to the area. It is a differ from settlement form. Settlement form is related is a more to be spacious is a characteristics of individual settlement here. However, sometimes form of patterns are used are interchangeable, but here we will be discuss about the pattern only as far as the types of rural settlement is concerned here. It is simplify the degree of depression of the swelling. There is the most important the types of settlement here. So here come types of rural settlement here. Geographers is have a suggest the various themes of classification. If we a group of settlement found all over the country, and this can be broadly to group it under four category. First of all, category here impact as cluster or nucleated to settlement, and second here semi-compact. Semi is a clustered and fragment of settlement here, and third is a hem-lated settlement, and fourth is here dispersed settlement. This is the most important point. Let's discuss about three types one by one, along with some of the major pattern of various types of as a rural settlement here. First come here compact settlement. What do you mean to here a compact settlement as the name of suggests, this settlement have a closely a build of area, closely build of area, and therefore such a settlement all the swings are concentrated in a one central site, and this is inhabited area is structured and separate from the form and posture. The maximum settlement of our countries come under this category, and there are spread over to almost every part of country, and these settlements are distributed over to the entire northernest is the Indo-Ganga plan from Punjab in the northern western of West Bengal in the east, and Odisha and coastal and basin of Mehandra in the Chhattisgarh and coastal area of Andhra Pradesh is given there is a delta of Tamil Nadu and well thus is the Karnataka. Lower Assam and Tripura and there is a valley of Sivalik etc. And sometimes people live in a compact settlement for a security of defense purpose here. The greatest example of this type is the Bundelkhand region of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh here. In Rajasthan also is a people live in a compact settlement because of the scarcity is ability of is a cultivable land and water body here. There is a low here also the complex settlement in a Rajasthan. Therefore, they want to be make a maximum use or ability of natural resource here. The important. Such settlement is generally range from a cluster of about a 30 to hundreds of dwellings of different form. Size and functions here. On an average, their size varies from a 500 to 2,500 person is especially is a proliferated a part of Rajasthan to be more than 10,000 person in a Ganga plan here. Every often this is a settlement have a defined pattern due to closely a built area and interweaving there is a straight pattern. As a many as 11 pattern are identified here. We will be discuss only 5 major pattern and these pattern are linear pattern and rectangle pattern and circular pattern and square pattern and radial pattern. Let us discuss to the one by one for the different types of here major pattern here. First here linear pattern. Linear pattern here it is commonly found along is a main road, railways and streams etc. here. It may be have a single row house arranged along there is a main arteries and for example rural settlement found along to sea, coastal, river valley and mountain range etc. here. There is an important linear pattern here. And next here rectangular pattern here. The second here rectangular pattern. This is a very common type which is developed around the rectangular shape of agriculture field as they are common to be find a system of land is a measurement based on the square unit. Village path and the cart track is also confined to be rectangle shaped pattern and ran through the village is the northern, south and eastern western direction. Accessibility there is a form to the field as a connectivity to be other settlement lead to rectangular shape of settlements here. The settlement is a coastal Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh and either side of is the Aravalli Hill sector and maybe type for the example here. And next here a square pattern. Let's see the square pattern here. The square pattern, this is the basically is a variety of rectangle type such as a pattern is associated with their villages lying at the crossing of the car tracks at the road and also related to the features is stacked an extension of the village outside a square space. And these features may include an all boundaries wall thick is arched and there's a road as a pound is important. And the next here circular pattern here. Circle pattern in this is the upper Dovas and Trans is a Yamuna districts. Is the Malwaris as Punjab and Gujarat large villages are characterized by the very high degree of compactness here. The outer walls of dwellings is adjoining each of other and present a continuous front so that when a view from to the outside the village look like a wall as wall of a defile enclosure spared by the few opening. The round from was a natural outcome for maximum irrigation for a purpose for defense during to the past. There is a most important point here circular pattern. The next radial pattern in this types of number of streets is a coverage on a center which may be a source of water. There is like a pond, well and temples are mosques and center of the commercially activity of simple open space. Thus the streets seem to be gradation from common center. Example our settlement is near a Guruk Shikhar and Mount Abu is Rajasthan. The Mount Abu in Rajasthan and Vindhyachal in the Uttar Pradesh, etc. There is the most important here example. And the next here, semi-compact settlement here. Semi-compact settlement, as the name of suggested, the dwelling to the house are not be well connected here. And such settlements are characterized by a small but compact nuclear around which is the hamlet and disappears there. Its cover is more area than to compact settlements, and these settlements are found both upland and plateaus depending upon the environment condition and providing in their area. Such settlements are situated along the streams and Manipur, Madhyalaya and the Balghat district of Madhya Pradesh here, and the Rajghar district of Chhattisgarh. Different tribes groups is inhabited such a settlement in the Chota Nagpur regions here. In the Nagaland, such a settlement is maybe in form of blazing of villages. Like a compact settlement, a semi-compact settlements may be also have a different pattern. The different pattern, there are some of pattern here, a checker board pattern, ingranated a pattern, fan shape pattern. There is a most important pattern according to semi-compact settlement here. The semi-settlement compact here, this is important. The important first point here, checkerboard pattern. Checkerboard pattern, this types of settlement found generally at the junction of two road. Junction of two road. The village settle street is meet to each other at one's angle or parallel to each other. And this because of the tendency to be liaison to the devils along a cardinal axis. And this pattern is common in there is a northern plain area. And the next year, ignorates a pattern. Ignorated pattern and such a settlement occur as a result of ignorations of rectangular pattern due to the influence of side feature. For instance, in the Ganga plan, an area is level to inheritions, the rectangular pattern become usually is ignorated along the high ground. Even otherwise is an advantage offering by the river sides location of force such as a pattern. There is an important point here. The next here, fan shape pattern. Fan shape pattern, there is important. This is a seam to where some focus as a point to line is situated at one's end of villages. A focal object may be a tank, a riverside, a road, a no arc card, as well as even to place of our shape. The work shape is important, such as a pattern is common in the delta region, whereas designed to the simply follow the fan shape profile of delta in the case of Manhavadis and the Godavari, Krishna, Kaveris, etc. Such a pattern are also common in Himalaya is a foothill. The next here is a hamleted settlement here. This type of settlement are fragmented into the several small unit. The main settlement does not be have such as influence on the other unit, and every often there is original site is not easy, sustainable, and these hamlet are often spread over to the area with the intervening field. And this is, segregation is often influenced by a social and ethics factor. The hamlets are a locus, named is a Philias, Paras, Thana, and Dhani, Nelas, etc. And these settlements are generally found in a West Bengal, and the eastern is Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, and the coastal plain is geographically it is a cover is a lower Ganga plain, a lower valley of the Himalaya, and the center plateaus is a upland and the region of the country. The next year, dispersed settlement. There is an important point. This is also known as the isolated settlement. Is also called to isolated settlement here. And here the settlement is characterized by unit of small size and which may be consist of a single house to the small group of houses. It is a various from 2 or 7 huts, and therefore it is a types of hamlet are scattering over to the west area and that does not be have any specific pattern. Such a types of settlement are found in the Trivers area in the central part of India, covering to the Chota Nagpur plateaus and Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, etc. Such a pattern are also common in the hill of north is the northern Bengal, Jammu and Kashmir, and Tamil Nadu and Kerala. That is important. The next year, Factor influencing there are types of rural settlement. Factor influencing of there are types of rural settlement. That is an important topic. There are three factors that influence of type of settlement in India. These factors are physical, ethic or cultures, and historical or defense. Let us discuss these factors one by one here. The first factor here, physical factor. Physical factor here, this include a relief or reduce as social is a capability, climate and drainage, growth, water level, etc. This factor influence the types of spacing of the dwellings of instance in a dry region of Rajasthan. Water is a aquacially factor and therefore houses are situated along a pond or well which is a guided there is a competence of the settlement. The physical factor is the most important here. There are physical factor is like relief, altitude, soil capability, climate, drainage, groundwater, and levels. There is the most important physical factor here. And second here, ethic. Ethic mean is a culture factor. Ethic culture factor here. This include a aspect like a caste, community, ethnicities, and religions. In India, it is commonly found that is a mainland opening is a caste reside at the center of the village and the others is a service providing to caste and periphery. This lead to be a social segregation and fragmentation of settlement into the several unit. There are ethics and culture factor like a caste, communities, ethics and religions here. And the next year historical and defense factor. Historical and defense factor in this past most broadly area of northern western plan where is a conquered as the attack of frequently by the outsider. For a long time, apart from attack from outsider, and there had been a continued fight between the princely state and kingdom within the country. Therefore, security concern forever. There are evolution of the nucleated settlement. There is important historical and defense factor here, like princely state and kingdom with the country. Therefore, security concern favor or evolution of related to settlement. There is an important factor here. The next year, house types in India. House types in India. There is a most important point. House types in India. Variation in the house types or dwellings are mainly based on the building materials available. It is also based on topography and prevailing climatic condition. You know that it is also based on topography and prevailing climatic condition. In the rainy area, most of the roof are slanting to be both side from center. It is an important point here. In the rainy area, mostly of the roof are slanting to be both side from the center. And this is also a case area where a snowfall occur. But the place where rainfall is scant, roof are flat. There is a most important point. As far as building material are concerned, this can be grouped under two categories. There are two categories most important: building material used for a walls, building material used for a roof. There is a most two category here: building materials used for a wall and building material used for the roof. However, with the advancement of building technology and financial assistance available to be people living below to poverty line has a changed to be structure of house types in the rural area. This is important. There the advancement of building technology and financial assistance available to the people living below the poverty line and change the structure and types in the rural area. Let us discuss them one by one for the building material used for the wall and building material used for roofs. Come here. Here come to the first point, building material used for a wall. In India, building material used for a wall can broadly be grouped under five categories. The five categories are most important: the mud, stone, brick, timber, and metal. There is a five materials are most important. And first here, mud. Mud is the most common material available from all types of soil. and varying the texture and color. It is also the widespread oldest material used in houses of all civilization. This is a vernacular buildings involving to family labor and is a neighborhood as a corporation and available almost all part of country. The next point is a stone art is a vessel as a welder or the rock cut piece are widely used in such a area is where a proximity is ability in a great amount and probability are variable factor. Sandstone are providing hill zone, volcanic plateaus zone and exhibit example of such a house in a abundance. There is stone, there is the most important. And the next is brick wall. Brick wall are known as a covering to countryside with an increasing use of the coal and baking materials. Today, brick is a granite are commonly found in the rural area and blackened bricks are freely available. Its role in the construction, cost, durability, space, saving and manner is a variability is a view. The oldest evidence of house are available from the excavation of various sites of Indo-Valley civilization. The mud is a moderate as a cementing material. Used badly use the countryside. Various other cementing materials and mortars are used at the same time. Now cement is a covering their market in a countryside too. And back it is a kacha. Brick is also used for a low height wall, but popular is a poor class awareness. There is a popular in a poor is a class awareness. The next year timber. Timber or wooden wall is the houses has been to commonly is a forest area because woods are available in abundance there. Just near the dwellings are the major factor for using this timber and building materials. Example are bound in the Bill area of central India. The next year, battleize ball. Battle ball is mainly their product of terrain and forest cover. This is due to the ability of material almost without cost and skill is among their awareness. And these houses are mostly occupied their original is their Vidyas as a Satpura. Mostly gardens as a wheel reside in such a houses, and these small dwellings occupy even the slope and summit of the hills. The next are building material used for a roof. These materials can be broadly is grouped under seven category. There is a under seven category. These are the tile, thatch, mud and other materials, tin, stone slab, wood and brick and other. There is a most important building material used for the roof. There is brief explanation here. A tile roof are commonly throughout the India, and two types of tiles, semi-cylindrical and flat, are used for the covering house with a varied size and form. By the large size is the large in the northern Indian plan and stores of plateaus and hill area. That is important here. And the next year, thatching is the original setter, making steel are prevalent in a most of poor class people. All the sorts of wall are covered by the thatch. Whether it is the stone, timber, or mud valid houses. The next year, mud threshing often mixed with the cow dung is a common is the western part of India. In a western part of Uttar Pradesh, such a house mark their horizons in each settlement. It is occasionally is a plastering is enough to be provide a safety from a rain. And the next year, stone slabs or flag are beginning used to sign a same time in a mountain, hilly and plateau area. Sandstone and steel slabs make a driverless roof after beginning cut and design according to the need. The next year, wood and roof material is commonly in the northern mountainous region of India. Within this category, there are two types. First is the northern eastern state. A wooden slab are carefully superimposed and joined with the round it is the corners and protect the house from snow and rainwater. In the lower altitudes, particularly Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, and Jammu and Kashmir, the houses are covered with the tiny or waterproof material. The next year, brick make flat and the smooth roof in the form of entry mixed with the iron, rod and cement. A, a practice is the because is a modern types rural house, particularly in the rulers market center and commonly found in the house of ruler rich. The use of the traditional building material is decreasing and it is beginning replaced by the building material like iron, tin, sheets, cement, and etc. The next year, urban settlement. Urban settlement is the most important point here. According to this census of India is urban area are those of which is a safely there are condition given below. The all place with the municipalities is a corporation and cantonment board are notified town area and communities etc. All the places with the municipality is corporation and cantonment of board are notified town area is communitized etc. All is other place with the safety flowing criteria is a first criteria is a minimum population of 5,000. Second year, at least 75% of male working population engage in a non-agriculture sector. There is a 75% of male working population engage in a non-agriculture sector. A density of population of at least 4,000 person per square kilometer. 4,000 per person per square kilometer here. And besides the direction of the census, is the operation is a state and union territories were allowed to be included in a consultations with their state government and union territory. Administration and the census is a commissioner of India. Some places having two districts urban characteristics as urban even. If such a place did not be city is a safety all the criteria mentioned under the category and the here such case include a major project colonies, railway colony, area of intensive and industrial development, an important tourist center, etc. Therefore, there are two bordered groups of town and our settlement here. The place which safety their condition mentioned in a category are known as a tourist town and the condition mentioned in a category and the B here are known as a census town. Urban aggregations may be consist of any one of the three combinations given below. There is a three combination is important here. A first year, a town and it is a adjoining urban outgrowth here. And two or more contiguous is a town with or without their outgrowth and a third year city and one of more adjoining town with there is a outgrowing together forming is a continuous as a stretch. That is important. An example of urban outgrowth are universities, a campus, and cantonment area is a port area and seaport and airport, railway, colonies, etc. That is important. But one should be remembered that these two towns are not available or permanent. In each census, towns are subjected to be classification and reclassification based on their prevalence or condition at that particular time. The next here types of urban settlement. There is an important point. Types of urban settlement here. Like a rural settlement, urban settlement and classify on various bases. However, classification based on size and function are most common. Let us discuss them one by one for here. The most important point classification based on a population size. Classification based on population size. According to the population size, Census of India classify the urban center into six classes. The urban center into six classes here. A class wise is the urban settlement and their population are given below in a tabular form. The tabular form that is important. The classification of urban settlement in a first class, the 1 lakh and above here, and class second is a 50,000 to 99,999. There is an important population point here. And third point here is a class third. There is a population here 20,000 to the 49,999. And class fourth here a 10,000 population to 19,999 population is almost is important. And fifth year 5,000 to the 9,999, and there are last year sixth year class is a less than 5,000. And there is another classifier of urban settlement. They classify in the following way. So first of all here town, and second here city. And the town here, the place which has a less than 1 lakh population, that is called town. There are is a less than 1 lakh population is called town. And city here, urban center having population between 1 lakh to 1 million. There is a 1 lakh to 1 million, that is called cities. The next year, metropolitan city. Metropolitan city here, the city have a population is between 1 million to 5 million. 1 million to 5 million, there is a population called to the metropolitan cities. And mega cities here, the mega cities having more than 5 million population. It is a mega city. Mega city is also here a 5 million population. The next year, functional classification here. Functional classification, this is the most popular and widely accepted classification of the urban place in India as well as in other part of the world. In India is a various scholar attempt to be a classified urban center on the basis of function. But the most popular and widely accepted functional classification is was given by the Ashok Mitra and note that is demographer and the register is generally of India. There is important function classification here. And the next year, Ashok Mitras is a functional classification of Indian city. Ashok Mitra is a classification of Indian cities. Ashok Mitras as a classification is a based on a categories of worker and classification of ability in the census of 1961 and 1971. Functional classification of the town and cities could not be used in 1981. Sensitive to non-ability of town level data and based in an industrial classification of worker into 9 industrial category. There is a worker into 9 industrial categories here. In 1991, and the fourth was made to classify all urban place in terms of their functional character with a slightly modification by adjusting the industrial categories into 5 bordered economic sector. And this classification in the following. The following classification is the most important here. Come the functional classification of urban place. Here come to the function and classification of urban place here, sector and second here industry category. There are primary activity is the cultivations, agricultural labors and livestock, forestry, fishing, hunting, plantation, orchard and the allied is activities. And the mining and acquiring also here. And industries here, manufacturing, processing, services and repairs. And also here household industries, another than to household industries, construction workers. There is a types of industries here. The next here trades. Trades is there, trade and commerce. And transport here, transport, storage and communication. And service here, other service. The procedure adopted for the functional classification in 1981 since you was the following. The first year, for each urban, agglomerations and town, there is a percentage of total is a main worker in each of the 5 sector was worked out. The functional category of UA town was then determined on the following basis here. The most important basis here, if the worker is one sector, considering there is a 40% or more, the UA and the town was classified in the relevant is a no functional category. And second here B, if the percentage is a one sector was less than 40%, two sector having their large percentage were combined to be C. If they are together, constitute their 60% or more, if so the UA town and was classified in the equivalent by functioning category. And third year C part, if not two sector added up to 60% or more, and three sector having their largest percentage were combined and the UA town was classified in their relevant multi-function category. The next you have to determine the functional category of each UA and town content case where at least 1 upon 4 workers were engaged in one of the fourth activities while there are forestry, fishing, including livestock and plantation, etc. The mining and quarryings is a manufacturing in the household industries and construction. The respective there is a US town has been to classify in their relevant sub-functional categories and provided such activity happen to be their first and second leading function of those US town. Using the above mentioned procedure, all there are 3,697 your town of India, including Jammu and Kashmir, having been classified into different functional categories and flowing result has been obtained by applying the above scheme. The first scheme here, almost half of the UA town is a 1,756 to be precise, and were classified in the first category, primary activity, but they contain only 15.85% of the urban population of the country. The most of town belonging to this category were a small size, and about 2 to 3 third of such a place we are having is a mono function character. Well, about 1/5 where multiplicationally is Uttar Pradesh have there is the largest number of 371 such a UA and town. And the next year is 723 US town has industries. Their predominant function is important, and this place accounted for almost half of the urban population. More than one third of this place were having 1 lakh or more population, and each and this place accounted as for more than is a fourth fifth population of the UN town and classified under industry category. Less than half of such a place had a is a monofunctional character, and the number of biofunctional place was quite less. Tamil Nadu had the largest number of 101 industry, and U as a town is flowing by the Uttar Pradesh is 91 and Gujarat there 87 under this category. There is the most important category here according to industrials here, and 460 UA towns were classified in the category of trade. But this place is comprised of 7% of the urban population, and most of this is a trading town. You had a multi-functional in the nature, and most of the rest town. You are the bifunctional in the mature. Uttar Pradesh has the largest number of UA town, and 123, and the rest of the state have a very less number of trading towns here. And the next year, only 23 UA town were classified as a transport accommodating and less than 1% of the urban population of country. Most of them are a small town, except of few like Karagangpur as the West Bengal and Mughal Sharis as the Uttar Pradesh. So far as there is a functional character is a concern, and 10 had a mono is a function and another 10 had a multifunction character. The next year, as many as a 736 UA town had a service as a leading function, and this accounted for more than 1/4 of the urban population. Most of there is the population about a 70% live in a class 1 is a town. As far as function are there concerned is the majority of the town are either multifunctional and biofunctional. Uttar Pradesh has the largest number of such a place. Is 114, followed by the Madhya Pradesh is here 82. After a decline to the discussion in the function classification of cities, the given table and show the function and few name of the cities in India that belong to the particular function. Arrive at a table, there is the most important cities according to the function. The function and name of the city. Administrative here cities are New Delhi, Chandigarh, Bhubaneswar and Gandhi Nagar, Tirumpurams and Imphal, etc. And industries here, Jamshedpur, Bhilai, Salem, Cambodia, Ismailnagar and Surat. And transport here, port cities like Kondal, Kocha, Visakhapatnam, etc. And road and railways of junction like Mughal, Sare, Itrasis, Katan and Karapura, Agra, etc. And the next year, commercially town. The commercial town is Kolkata, Mumbai, Saranpur, Indore, Chennai, etc. And the meaning town here is Rani Ganj, Jeres, Dhanbad, Divoi, Ankleshwar, and Sirangoli. Singrauli is important here. And cantonment is 6 here. Maruti, Ambala, Jalandhar, Mohas, Pathankot, etc. And educational here, Roorkee, Pilani, Manipal, Aligarh, and the Varanasi is the education place here. And religious place here, Puri, Mathura, Madurai, Tripura, Patis, Katras, Amritsar, and Allahabad, Varanasi. There are religious towns here. The next year, tourist. Tourists are almost a Nainital, Masuri, Simla, Panchahavi, is Udam, Dhams, Oti, and the Mount Abu, Gandak, etc. That is the most important spot of tourist here.